everyone, and welcome to the tutorial how to work with the templates that are available on my store. Today we'll be recreating or working with a template that's based off of Namjoon's Lost music video. It's this one. There's two kinds of templates available. A free one, which is this. It's without color, just the outlines, and another one that's available on my Patreon, which is the one in color. There's a different way how you can work with both of them. This one is pretty straightforward. There's two ways how to use this one, and I will tell you all about how to work with them and how you can make do if you don't have a colored paper. If you don't have a colored printer, everything is possible. It's just up to your imagination. Each template is made so it perfectly fits the A4 size of paper or standard size paper. Everything should fit in there. It should be just normal print, nothing special. When you do print it out, you can either use a normal standard thin paper or something harder, so it's easier to work with, so it doesn't tear, so it's sturdier. I would recommend to print out the colored ones on the harder paper, so it's easy to manage to work with. Each final piece has a different size. For example, this one is a square. It's 13 by 13 centimeters. I will always write it in the description of the template when you're downloading it, so you know what size it's supposed to be. I will start by explaining how the templates work. Both of them work the same way, which is that you have this first side, which has the piece that I've made already with numbers on each little section with written explanation of what this part is. These numbers are just to match the places on the picture. These are not the order, how to assemble them. If you're not sure about the order, you can always go watch my videos that I post online, the short ones, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, because I try to leave everything in so they can serve as a tutorial how to assemble everything. So just go there and look it up, like if I start with the front or if I start with the body, how I put them together, everything is there. Now let's look at close up at the template. Each little piece has a number next to it. The number corresponds with the number written out here. I try to explain it. Something is very straightforward, you know, like a hair or right ear, left ear. And bottom front wall, 8. Which is this part, which is this part, and you can see it matches the shape. As I've said, there's different ways how you can use each template. I'll start with the free one. You can either print out this template, cut out everything, which I will show you, then put it on top of the colored paper, trace it out, and then cut the colored paper and assemble. Or you can print it out flipped on a harder paper, and then you can use this kind of like a coloring template, because you can cut out the pieces, then color this side, which will be the proper shape, like the proper side, and you have the shapes that you can use just to assemble without using the colored paper if you don't have. Different ways how to use the colored one. Once is straightforward. Print it on a harder paper and you can assemble everything already. Or you can print it out on a normal paper if your printer can't do some heavier paper. And then just glue it to a sturdier or heavier paper. And here you go. Easy. What you'll need to work with this template is the template, obviously, a cutting board, if you will, glue, any kind of glue. It can be like a glue stick like this, or more of the liquid glue, like this. I prefer using the solid glue stick because it's easier to manage, to work with. Then you might use these foamy double-sided tapes if you want. I don't think I use this during gloss, but for different templates I do, to give it more depth. Then you'll need a pencil to trace everything on the colored paper, scissors, X-Acto knife, and craft tweezers. They're a lifesaver. If you don't have them, you don't need them, but I love using these to get the every detail perfectly fit. First off, we start with selecting the correct colored paper. For Namjoon, we'll need black for the hair, then 2 different kinds of yellow for his blazer and his undershirt. This matches his skin color in the MV with the lining all over there. It looks good, it looks well with the green, it looks wonderful. Then green. The thing is, at the store where I usually buy my paper, they didn't have the same one as they did before, so I can't match it perfectly because this one is perfect. This is a perfect color that they used in the MV. So instead I'm gonna be using a lighter green. It will still look good, it's still a good paper. It will just look a bit different than this here, and then the color that I use here, because this is directly from the MV. And then this kind of grayish black, which is used for the shadows. First thing we're gonna do with the free template, with the one without color, is cut everything out. Easy. So I'm just gonna do that. So now that we have everything cut out, I laid it back as if it was a template. To make it easier to make sense of what everything is, I wrote down the numbers on top of the pieces. You can always have the template open on the side on your computer to just keep track, or even like here you can see what matches what. Now we're going to take the colored paper and match each piece to a specific paper. So now each piece is matched to the proper colored paper. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna trace around the cutouts on the paper. One thing that I would recommend, so everything turns out cleaner, is to turn the pieces around, trace them like this, cut them out, and then the other side will be cleaner without any lines from the pencil, and everything will just look better. I will start tracing on the green paper. As I've said, turn it around so the lines aren't facing you. Place it on the paper as one would. Always try to think about how to fit everything in so you don't waste much paper, you know, so you can use it again. And then just trace around. If you want to keep more track, just once again write the number. And here we go. Now I'll do the rest for everything. So now that we have everything nicely traced on the proper colored paper, we're gonna once again cut everything out. What I would also recommend, so it's easier to work with, is to cut out the pieces that you're gonna be using, so you don't have any flops around and you can just work with the smaller piece of paper. Just take your time, be patient. There's no need to rush anything. It's better to make pieces bigger than smaller, so you have some space if you do mess up or if something doesn't fit, so you can cut it down smaller, because once you cut you can't go back, you know. You can always make a new piece, but that's gonna be wasting paper. It's better to make it bigger rather than smaller. Now that we have everything cut out, I will start by assembling Namjoon as the person. I always feel like that starting with the members, or like the main thing, is better than starting with the background. So let's start with the hair. Let's first see if it fits. It does fit the head nicely. As you can see, it's supposed to like stick out here because that's where the ear is gonna fit eventually. And it also fits. So let's start by gluing it down. I always take the glue stick and then just like lightly put it on top. And then we just glue it down so it fits nicely. Nice. And we have the head. Now that we have the head, we can add the neck. As you can see, I used pencil to shade out the neck a bit, but we don't have to do that. I don't think I'm gonna do that right now. I want to see how it will look without the shading. So you just take it, make sure it fits nicely. Then I just take the glue stick, put a bit on the side. As you can see, it's like this. Bit of a glue. And then we just glue it. Let's check. Nice. You can always use this picture that's always on top of the template to make sure that everything fits nicely. I have the original, so I'm gonna be using that, but you can always do that over there. So now let's continue on the blazer. I'll start with the hands. Nicely make sure that it fits. It does. And then we add this side. Nice. On the other side, it's just the shoulder and the lapel. So we add them together. Nice. Now we just add the undershirt. Make sure this goes under and this goes over so it fits nicely. And now we glue everything together. So now we have both sides of the blazer. We're gonna put it around the neck. Like this, nicely. So the color fits. Nice. And then the other that goes here and over. Like this. And then we glue it together again. So now that it's glued together, what you can do to add support, so it's, you know, so the pieces hold together well, is take one of the little pieces that you probably cut out while using the colored paper and just stick it over like this to make sure that all the pieces are together. Here you can also use this as like a backing for the color, so it seems like it's connected, but I'm just gonna stick it like here. So all the three pieces, the left side, the neck, and the right side are together, like this. So now that we have the body, we can start assembling the background. To make the bottom, we'll need number 8, number 23, number 5, and number 3. Which is this, and number 3 is this. Let's start with the shadow, which is here, which is 5 under 3. It should be like this, perfect. Now we're just gonna glue it together. Now let's take 8 and put it over here like this. Once again, glue it down. And now we put the last piece over like this. So it's behind everything. It's okay if it's sticking out like this. We're gonna cut it later so it fits the square nicely. We have this piece, and it's the piece that Namjoon is gonna stick out of, like this. Nice. Now we're gonna move to the background. We're gonna start by adding them together like this. Number 22 should stick over here. I think like around here, right? And number 21 is gonna be here. Now we're glue it together. So now we glued everything together and it should fit over here like this. Nice. And we have the bottom part which should fit over here like this. Nice. Now we're gonna do the part behind Namjoon, which is this and this. And it's gonna fit together like this. We're just gonna glue this together and then we're gonna assemble everything. Another thing that we're gonna do before we glue everything together is put the shadow behind Namjoon like this and glue it there, because it's not gonna move from that place anyway. Now we have all the parts, the back, the middle, the bottom, and now we're gonna start from the back and glue everything down. So I will start here. Before I continue gluing everything down here, I'm gonna take a ruler and make a line over here as another corner that we don't have. I'm taking a black pencil and lightly, it shouldn't overpower everything else, making a line down here. Nice. Now we continue with gluing down everything. We're gonna take this place and put it over here with the Namjoon over to around here. Okay, and glue it down. Namjoon has been glued down, and now the last piece is like this. We make sure that it lines up over here. If this side doesn't match, it's okay, we can always cut it. We need to hide Namjoon's missing body. So once everything is nicely lined up, you glue it down once again. So now that we have everything glued down, you can see that there's some parts that are sticking out, and we're just gonna turn it around like this. Take big scissors, small scissors, any kind of scissors, and just cut the pieces that are sticking out. Easy peasy. Like this, and ta-da! If you want, you can take a pencil and shade everything out, because for example here I did it, I like these parts are a bit lighter. Namjoon's neck is darker. You can do that, you don't have to do that. And this is the final result. This, as you can see, there is a bit of a difference between them when it comes to Namjoon's size. That's because this is more accurate to the music video than this one, because this was the first time I was doing it, and it was, you know, like hit or miss, and I missed some things. But this is more put together. As you can see, the color is not matching, as I explained at the start. I don't have the right colored paper, but I think it turned out great. I really hope it all made sense. The same thing you're gonna do with the colored one is everything is the same. Just skip the part where you cut out this and trace it to the colored paper. Another thing with this one, that as I said, you can flip it, and then once you cut everything out, you will have like these little pieces which you can color then and stick them, but there will be the right direction. Right now, like if I were to color them and stick them, they don't fit, right? You see it's the other way. But if it was this side, would fit perfectly. I hope you understand what I mean. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, to DM me, probably on Instagram. I hope everything made sense. I hope if you do make them, it turns out okay, it turns out great. As you can see, there's a huge difference between the, like, now that I see it, between the papers. This matches well. This is too, the contrast is too big. But it is what it is. I didn't have the right paper. I hope you have fun while you make these. And I'll see you once I make new stuff. Bye bye.